Alright, welcome back. As you guys saw in the last video, we have a Dell XPS 410 that was really quite an underperformer for a gaming PC, even for that era. The graphics card that was installed in here was this Nvidia GeForce 7300 LE, and it's a 128 megabyte GPU that couldn't get out of its own way. For shits and giggles, though, I did replace it with a PCI 8400 GS. It's a 250 megabyte card that fits in PCI slot. And there was a slight improvement, although nothing really worth mentioning. These cards are really nothing more than fancy display adapters and useless for 3D gaming, but it was interesting to try anyways. I have a few cards to choose from to install in here, but the one that makes the most sense to me is a card from the same era, about 1 year newer to this PC, and iconic in its own way for gaming. That is the Nvidia GeForce 8800 GT. This 512 megabyte card will make this PC worthy of being called an XPS for sure. So let's go ahead and get it installed and see what it can do. Okay, that was much better, but if you noticed on the overlay, the CPU usage was extremely high and the GPU usage was much lower. So it seems that this Core 2 Duo E6300 is a pretty severe bottleneck for that 8800 GT. Fortunately, we can upgrade the CPU as well. I think we have the perfect replacement part, another iconic part from the same era. This is the Q6600 Core 2 Quad running at 2.4 gigahertz. So we not only have faster cores now, but twice as many. Unfortunately, though, we have no overclocking options on the system. Being that this is an OEM machine, the BIOS has no options for overclocking. Also, the motherboard uses the Intel P965 chipset, which supports up to 1066 front-side bus, so you're not able to disconnect one of the B-cell pins to make the CPU run at 1333, which I believe would jump the Q6600 from 2.4 to 3 gigahertz. So why don't we hurry up and get this installed and see if it's a better match for its 8800 GT. All right. Wow, that seemed to be a hell of a lot better. You know, it seemed silly to me at first that you could buy an XPS 410 in 2006 with the parts that we first tested. But honestly, though, if you want an XPS and we're willing to buy the rock bottom version and save some money on, you know, on the whole system, you could have easily upgraded it in 2007, and you probably would have saved yourself a few bucks after all was said and done, and you would have had, you know, one hell of a gaming rig. This Dell is going up for sale with Windows Vista Service Pack 2 installed because it's going to be sold as a retro gaming PC. But all this testing was done on Windows 10 without any issues whatsoever. You know, so it could be a true retro machine with XP or Vista installed, or if you don't want to deal with the hassle of operating systems that are no longer supported, and you know, issues with drivers and Steam and all that. You know, you can still run your retro games on it with Windows 10 with no problem. You can't, you know, if you keep these retro parts in here, you're obviously limited to DirectX 10 or earlier. But that's the whole point of a retro gaming PC, right? So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I have no idea what we're going to come up with next to dink around with. So, we'll see you when we come up with something.